Hi, my name is Cold Beer and let me tell you about Olden Era. I've got my hands on the preview version of Olden Era and played it for several hours. I tried different factions, conquered towns, raised my armies and did everything else a true Heroes of Might and Magic fan would do. And I am an old wolf in this sphere. I got my first personal computer in 1998 and it had Heroes 2 pre-installed in it already. Since then I have played every single part, well, at least a little. Like many of us, I like Heroes 3 with free Horn of the Abyss DLC the most, and Olden Era is exactly that. Most of the mechanics are taken from the third part, and I was very curious to know if they work or are they just an advertising trick. Like, let's be honest, the game has this mobile game vibe when you look at the screenshots, so immediately raises the question, will it be complex and fun enough, or is that just a dumbed down version for, modern audiences? And the publisher of the game, Hooded Horse, liked me somehow, so they sent me the key in advance. And honestly, that was a highlight of my day. I was eagerly waiting for the game to be released. So let me begin with the thing I didn't like. I'm really not a fan of the graphic style. It seems too cartoonish and really lacks that high fantasy vibe. I'm not even talking that here you won't find anything on the darker levels, like in Disciples series, but hey, Heroes were always the blonde cheerleader sister of the goth mistress that Disciples are. Anyway, Heroes 3 had this realism-based graphic style. It wasn't drawing inspiration from cheerful, colorful fantasy land where everyone is dancing with the unicorns, but rather tried to convey the feeling of the land you're having an adventure on. The color palette was very specific. That made our imagination go wild. It was very easy to just dive in, like when you read the book, and any good book has this ability to unlock our imagination and start painting distant worlds, characters and their adventures in our head. Heroes of Might and Magic 3 did that with its art style. The Olden Era is not like this. Should it be? I don't know, the logic says that if you are copying the game, you must do that faithfully, but on the other hand, this is not a remake, it's a different game. So what I gathered is that these cartoony graphics can grow on you. At first I was skeptical, but the more I played, the more I liked it. I may not be a fan of the visuals, but I'm not a grumpy old dude who can't cope with anything new. No, it's not the case. I started to notice all the work they poured into the tiny details. Every unit, every dwelling is carefully designed. They look really cool. All is good, so I just let my mind accept the fact that Olden Era is a bit more colorful and moved on. Now you may ask, how about the feeling in general? What this game made me feel? Does it invoke nostalgia or is it completely a new experience? Well, it's probably both. I have played many games similar to Heroes like Songs of Conquest recently, or the newest Heroes of Science and Fiction for example, and they never touched the rope my nostalgia is hanging on. They are cool games, but not nostalgia cool. But the Olden Era definitely has its moments. You can upgrade your units, fight in well-known 2D battlefields, well 2.5D here to be exact, learn new spells while building your multi-layered magic towers, explore the map and find well-known dwellings. I like the battles very much. Sometimes I even took myself to the battlefield even if the automatic outcome was heavily in my favor. Looking at all these new creatures and their various animations is very interesting. A very cool feature they took from previous parts is that every building on the map has its own sound. Various chimes, music, voices, sound of water dripping and so on. It creates that magical atmosphere you crave for in the Heroes franchise. In short, an entire game is very nicely done. I played 4 available factions out of 6 planned in the full game and I encountered absolutely no bugs or glitches in about 10 hours of my playtime. The only very annoying feature is that it's hard to pinpoint the exact location where you want to go. It's not intuitive at all, so I was misclicking and wasting my moving points left and right, like literally. Well, it's a preview version, so I have no doubt that they will fix it. If they don't, they will be in a world of pain from the players. Also, for now, they don't have automatic battle feature. They can calculate the outcome of every battle without actually doing the fighting, and you can accept or decline their calculations, but if you actually go straight to the battlefield, You will have to do everything manually. So as I've said, I tried different factions. They're very cool and all. I like the town screens very much. They feel alive, but some feel better than others. I won't dive into the technical aspects. I know they are boring if you never play the game, but compared to Heroes 3, here you have this additional passive skill system. Some of those are upgrading your units, some give you resources, and it's easy to forget that it even exists. There were many times when I found myself with like 8 unspent points during my playthrough and probably suffered greatly because of that. The AI seems to be very strong. I lost every game by playing on normal, but that can probably mean that I'm not accustomed to the game yet. I played the third Heroes on the hardest insane difficulty and win every time, so I guess the issue was my skill. Let me know about your experience when you tried the demo. So I guess it's time for a verdict now. I would say 7 cold beers out of 10. Very good potential. Let's hope they won't put pineapple faction in the game. And now thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and I'll see you next time. Bye.